You've probably heard of it, right? The PCR test. You've heard of cycles. You've heard of the cycle thresholds. PCR is a beautiful thing. The fellow that dreamt it up, Dr. Kary Mullis, won a Nobel Prize for it. And even he said it should never be used as a diagnostic test on its own. Conveniently, he died August 2019. But I digress. It should never be used. It should never be used as a test. It is far too sensitive. Right now, the province of Ontario was testing up to 47 cycles. The WHO recommended 25. That difference is a 10 million-fold increase in sensitivity. And then I moved to Edinburgh, Scotland, and I spent 10 years there studying yeast. And that led me into my next career, owning a microbrewery in Kitchener-Waterloo. Now, I'll tell you folks, us small guys need all the support from all of you. Because when it went out that I'm doing this, the hate that I received online, being called a racist, being called a homophobe, what? It's insane. The cancel culture is real. But I'm here to talk to you about PCR and science. That is what I became a global expert in when I was in Edinburgh. I've done probably 150, 200,000 of those myself. And that's what's got us into this whole problem. RT-qPCR. You've probably heard of it, right? The PCR test. You've heard of cycles. You've heard of the cycle thresholds. PCR is a beautiful thing. The fellow that dreamt it up, Dr. Kary Mullis, won a Nobel Prize for it. And even he said it should never be used as a diagnostic test on its own. Conveniently, he died August 2019. But I digress. It should never be used. It should never be used as a test. It is far too sensitive. Right now, the province of Ontario was testing up to 47 cycles. The WHO recommended 25. That difference is a 10 million-fold increase in sensitivity. I could be a kumquat if they tested my DNA like that. It's not rational. And even now, the WHO, because they've been so right about this whole thing, right? They say 25 cycles and no more. Ontario says, nah, we're going to do 35. That's still 1,000 times more sensitive. And this is what's got us into this problem. They're testing. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. And we've, for the past 14 months, we've been told to follow the science. They're following the science. I think that should be a registered trademark, the science. We've been told that lockdowns work. Do they? No! We've been told that the virus, SARS-CoV-2, is a novel virus. It's actually not. It's basically a variant of SARS. We've been told masks work, and therefore masking children is justified and harmless. We've been told viruses spread on surfaces and via droplets. They don't. Aerosols, my friends. Someone who is not sick is still sick and able to spread the disease. Not possible. Many scientific papers in December alone disproved. One of them had 10 million people in a study disproving asymptomatic transmission. 0 cases. 10 million. We have also been told, since this was a novel coronavirus, we have no previous immunity. None. It's like, well, we've never seen this before. It's going to kill everyone. No, we have immunity to this. There's been studies, Canadian studies, that have shown 90% of people tested have antibodies to this. And that's not even our T cells, 30 to 60% T cell cross reactivity. Our immune system's seen this. We can fight it. That's why not as many people as we thought have been sick. Or died. People have died. I mean, that's a problem. Absolutely. Well, died. Correlation is not causation. That is a scientific principle. Died with COVID or due to COVID, that needs to be researched. And this little nugget that came out of that hideous woman Tam's mouth this week, we must achieve a 75% vaccination rate to get to herd immunity. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Vaccines work. But I'm sorry, when you want to give me a jab for something that I need a test that's 10 million times more sensitive than it needs to be to tell me I was sick in the first place, I'm not taking it. We've also been told, and this is this gets my wife going, there are no effective treatments for COVID-19. You just go into a hospital and you just wait to die. We know that's not the case. And the most insulting of all, your freedom is granted to you by your government and worse, unelected public health tyrants, and can be revoked at will. Can it be? You're right. I'm going to cut this short. I did have a letter that I sent off to Doug Ford, my wife and I wrote in January of this year, basically asking for, let's have some fresh scientific voices. Let's have other opinions. Maybe we have some child psychologists on the panel. Maybe some economics. Some small business people. No. It did get me, however, a phone call with Doug Ford's own health policy advisor. So it did get somewhere. So keep trying. Keep fighting. I mean, what basically came out of it is they're a bunch of headless chickens covering their arse right now, which is not a good sign. It really isn't. I want to thank you all for being here, for coming out, freezing your butts off. It's not nice. We should have done this yesterday. Why did we not do this yesterday? Thank you for your time. Please support the small businesses that have stuck their neck out to do this stuff. The places that you can go into and not wear a mask or have hand sanitizer forced down your throat. Support these places, even if it costs you more. It's worth it. Thank you for your time.